Maids. I don't think the Victorians meant to do this. A maid is a person hired to help with domestic menial tasks, such as cleaning and tidying up in a home. At face value, this is simply an honest, respectable occupation. Some of us have trouble taking care of the things around us, or don't have time to do so we hire other people. Sounds reasonable enough. If, however, you're in the deranged anime community like I am, then the idea of a maid might differ from your well-adjusted, average person. For whatever reason, Japan has taken what was once a simple European uniform for servants and actually just went apeshit. Gun-wielding maids, demon ogre maids, magic casting maids, dragon maids, maids that won't stop applying corner pressure. Cute, dangerous, cool. The idea of maids have ascended from their original confines of their definition almost to the point of oversaturation. You practically can't escape them in anime. There is, however, one artist that has given their own unique spin on maids, and it's one that I've never seen before in any medium. Today's featured Twitter artist is Suzushiro333, the skateboarding maid artist. Suzushiro's art is nothing short of mesmerizing. Their art often has this forward motion to it that I really love. With maids as the main focus, they're often depicted doing tricks in various locations. Looking at the backgrounds, while they aren't always present or particularly detailed, the few times that they are drawn is a breath of fresh air. The locations range from a city in a European country to an empty pool rink. Looking at the tricks themselves, not only is the energy of each jump captured in the drawing, but also the billowing flurry of the dress is undeniably detailed. You can practically hear the rush of wind brushing against the skirt as they pull off a stunt. Overall, Suzushiro depicts a nice balance of tension and release right before and after a leap, and seeing that motion captured in a single frame is very satisfying. Alright, let's take a step back. Everything I've said is fine. This is all good, technical, and well-drawn art. However, as per usual, part of my brand is to not only observe good art, but to also weave a story with the art or the artist themselves. That being said, here's one of the narratives I'll spin. I think Suzushiro captures a unique perspective that skateboarders have that most people don't. While I may see a set of stairs, skateboarders may see another jump. While I may see a fire hydrant, they may see another challenge. Every restaurant sign is another trick. Every empty pool is another rink. Every handrail is another grind. Suzushiro shows us how skateboarders may look at the world around them, and to me, it makes everyday simple things that much more lively or full of potential. I personally don't know anything about skateboarding myself. I've never even been on one before. But despite that, I see why it's a sport people love. I can tell that there's style and personality in skateboard culture. That being said, I can also see how someone might be like, well, big whoop. There's nothing special about this art. They just took their weird maid fetish and applied it to skateboarding. Throw that into the list of wacky things maids have done in anime and manga. And you can have that bad opinion, but I would implore you to take a step back and think about what you're looking at. We're looking at a woman in a maid outfit, the clothes which originated in Europe, riding a skateboard which originated from the United States, drawn in an anime art style which originated in Japan. That fact alone personally leaves me with a warm feeling inside. The cultural cross-pollination in this is both hilarious and unironically really cool to see. I don't think there's a better time in history for us to be exposed to different cultures. Seeing how different artists creatively use bits and pieces from around the world is genuinely beautiful. Moving on, there's actually another narrative I'd like to spin on Suzushiro's art, and it requires us to look at some history. As much as maids have been glorified and perhaps fetishized in anime today, the historical context of maids is a bit darker. When I was doing research for this video, I found an article talking about how a researcher was analyzing British servants' autobiographies to get a feel for their everyday life. In it, they found commentary on how the servants personally felt about their uniform, and what I read was actually surprising. Primarily coming from the 1930s, some servants stated that their uniform reduced them to a fixed identity and social class, thereby suppressing their individuality and self-esteem. Another servant described their experience stating, "The greatest trouble with service is having to wear a cap and apron. Shop girls and business girls look down upon servants for that reason." While not the case for all women servants, it's clear that some of them felt that this uniform stripped them of their individuality and a sense of self. They felt embarrassed or excluded, and what they were forced to wear played a big role in that fact. Reading that was shocking to me. I've never been one to particularly care what I wore or what other people wore, but I see its importance. Clothes can say or imply a lot of things about you, like your social status, your religion, your gender, your age, your personality, all of these things. Being restricted to a single uniform can take that individuality away. Which is why I guide you back to the skating maids. Suzushiro's art shows us something fascinating. While all of these maids wear a similar uniform, every single one of them is still able to express their individuality. And the thing that's allowed them to do this is skateboard culture. It's small, but take for instance how the shoes are drawn. Every maid has a different colored shoe, and it stands out against the black and white dress. The culture around shoes is its own can of worms, but you can tell that there's a deliberate amount of detail around the shoes that the artist is nodding towards. Another way individuality is expressed is through the skateboards themselves. The design, logos, and colors on the back side of the boards says something about the preference of the rider. Maybe they like basic colors, or maybe flashier ones. Maybe they like nature-themed ones, or ones with a cool design. Even the scratches on the board tell a story. How long have they been skating? What tricks do they typically go for? How much maintenance do they do on their board? These, again, are all things that play into differentiating each maid. Lastly, Suzushiro shows individuality with the maids through the tricks that they do. Some maids pull off difficult, technical tricks. Some maids are complete beginners and need some help. And some maids actually just completely wipe out attempting to grind a rail. In the end, they're all doing unique things they want. If you wanted to be a little poetic about it, it's like a showcase of freedom in the face of conformity. Alright, here's what I'm trying to say with all this, because I know I've thrown a lot at you. Whether it was intended or not, I think Suzushiro has shown us something really cool with her art. The perspective of a skateboarder might see ordinary objects as exciting challenges full of potential. The beautiful collision of American, European, and Japanese cultural ideas can still be cohesive and refreshing. And finally, the display of freedom in skateboarding allows individual dignity to thrive, even in uniform. I think if I was ever asked why I love art the way that I do, I'd say it comes from people like Suzushiro, who are able to weave a story in something as simple as skateboarding maids. That's all I've got. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.